Hello and welcome to Dubai Life. I cannot stop thanking you for supporting this channel, for liking the videos, sharing the videos and subscribing, most importantly. This video is a continuation of the previous video. In the previous video, I talked about the domestic labor law and entitlement of any domestic workers in the United Arab Emirates. In this video, I'm going to talk about what is not accepted by the domestic labor law. Prohibitions. These are things that are not accepted by the domestic labor law. It doesn't allow the employer to do any of the following. If you are a domestic helper or you know someone who is a domestic helper, and I mean anyone under this category, you should know that this is not allowed. This is not allowed by the domestic labor law. Watch and stay with me to the end of the video. So the domestic labor law does not allow employment of anyone under 18 years. Child labor is not accepted by the domestic labor law. If you know any sister, any brother who is employed and is under 18 years, just know that is illegal. That can be filed as a case to the Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratisation or to police. Number two, the domestic labor law does not allow discrimination based on gender, male or female, based on race. If African, Asian, American or European, they should not be discriminated. Religion, you should not discriminate someone just based on their religion. Ethnic background, that may be similar to race, but ethnic background is different. Color, skin, height, disability. If someone is competent to do the job, they should not be discriminated according to the domestic labor law. So if you're employing 2 people or 3 people doing the same job in the house, you should not pay differently. Let me put it in better context. If in a big house, for a big family, they have 3 maids or 3 kadamas, one from Africa, one from Philippines, and one from, let's say, Europe, just an example. All these are supposed to be paid the same. Only situations when one can be paid more is, for example, if one is also doing tutoring for the kids or cooking as additional task and others are not doing, then that is justified, they can be paid more. Also, in terms of the benefits should be the same. You should not give more resting hours to one nationality or one race and less to others. So all the treatment should be the same. The domestic labor law prohibits sexual harassment in any form. It does not allow sexual harassment in any form, whether verbal or physical. If your boss or family members are sexually harassing you, you can report the case to police or to the Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratisation. The domestic labor law also prohibits or does not allow human trafficking or forced labor. So no one should be trafficked into the United Arab Emirates to work as a domestic helper. If you were just trafficked in, know that that was illegally done. If you're happy, maybe it's okay. But if you're still forced to do work, then you should find a way of reporting this to the authorities. It is not allowed for anyone to force anyone to work. It's like slavery. You're not allowed to be forced to work or trafficked into the United Arab Emirates for work. The domestic labor law also prohibits or forbids or does not allow torture. Torture, harassment is not allowed by the domestic labor law. If anyone is torturing you, harassing you, forcing you, beating you, physically, like torturing you or insulting you, then you should report this to police and, if possible, to the Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratisation. No one should lay their hands on you or a stick or in any form. I know there are many stories I've heard of people being tortured, but doesn't mean that it is allowed. It's still illegal, but some people do it, and if you don't come out and talk about it, no one will ever know. So if you're being tortured physically, you should report that case. Lastly, the domestic labor law does not allow adding extra work that is not covered in the contract. If your contract does not mention a certain kind of job, then it should be either agreement or understanding and maybe overtime for that task, or they should not be forcing you to do it. For example, if someone is a driver, employed as a driver, then you should not force them to cook food for you, or you should not force them to do maid's work unless you agree and give a special payment like overtime for the extra duties. Then that is okay. But if you're forcing someone to do work that is not covered in the contract, then it is illegal. If your boss is forcing you to do work that is not covered in the contract, then that is illegal. I know it's a challenge because many people don't have the contracts they signed, but if you can, try to ask your boss for the contract, or your agent who gave you the job, who connected you to the boss, ask them to give you a copy of the contract so that you know exactly what is covered in your contract with your boss, so that you don't have to do extra work that is not covered. That is all for today's video. So if you have watched till this end, I believe you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you subscribe and click the notification bell so that every time I have a new video about life in Dubai, you will be the first to know. Share this video with anyone else who may need it, and I guess you got some good information about what is prohibited by the domestic labor law. And if you know someone who is going through torture, you can help them report that case to the Ministry of the Human Resources and Emiratization, or to the nearest police in that emirate or that location. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.